AITA for disinviting a friend to my birthday after she showed me the food she was bringing. So, I'm using a throwaway for this one. I'm turning 18 soon and decided to have a small dinner at my house with my closest friends. I mentioned that everyone could bring food if they wanted, but I'd be making some barbecue and ordering pizza. My guy friend, Ryan, asked if he could bring his girlfriend, Emily, since they started dating. I said yes, because he planned to leave early anyway. Emily offered to make a cake, and I thought that was really nice, but I told her she didn't have to. She insisted, so I made a group chat to keep everyone in the loop. In the chat, I emphasized the importance of checking for allergies, because one of my friends has a serious nut allergy. Everyone acknowledged my message, and Emily even gave a thumbs up. Last night, Emily and I were chatting, and she mentioned the cake she made. I asked to see a picture, and when I did, I noticed it looked like something my mom would make, and it had nuts in it. When I asked her about it, she said there were only a few nuts, and that my friend could just skip the cake. I told her I'd prefer if she didn't bring it at all. That's when things took a turn. Emily got upset and insisted on bringing the cake, or she wouldn't come. I stood my ground and explained that I was clear about the allergy and the risk of cross-contamination. She accused me of being disrespectful and said that if Ryan was going, she was going too. I told her it was my party and I didn't want her there anymore because of how she was acting. After that, Ryan called me, saying I was being unreasonable and that Emily had put a lot of effort into the cake. I told him that no matter how much time she spent on it, I had made my boundaries clear from the start. I even asked if she couldn't find another cake recipe that didn't include nuts. He hung up on me after calling me rude. Now Ryan is telling everyone they're not coming because of what I said. And many friends, mostly those not attending, are saying I was wrong to uninvite her after she put in the effort. Only a few, including my friend with the nut allergy, agree with me. My party is tomorrow, and I'm feeling conflicted.
Update 2. I just walked in on my girlfriend of 7 years having an affair with my roommate. It's been a whirlwind since that moment. After everything, my ex made a doctor's appointment to confirm her pregnancy. She texted me about it, asking if I would go with her. I hesitated but eventually agreed, though I insisted my friend Emily accompany her instead. When I arrived at the appointment, I sat in silence as the doctor confirmed the news. My ex was overjoyed, while I felt a storm of emotions. After the ultrasound, I stepped out, needing space to process. I texted her that before anything else happened, we needed a paternity test. She reluctantly agreed, and we arranged for the test. To my surprise, she brought her mom along. I was too anxious to be there when the results came in, so Emily and another friend went instead. When I received the call, I could hardly breathe. Emily told me, "You're not the dad." I felt an overwhelming rush of relief. After that, I cut off contact with my ex. I moved into a new apartment near my friends, blocked her on everything, and focused on my life. I joined a summer baseball league, volunteered at a preschool, and even got a new bike and a cat named Jasper. Staying busy has helped me heal. I'm reading more and spending time with friends. We're planning a hiking trip soon, and I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate all the support I've received. It's been a tough journey, but I'm ready to move forward. I'm focusing on finishing my degree and deciding what comes next. For now, I'm embracing this new chapter in my life.
Update. My wife admitted to me that she has quite an intense crush on her personal trainer. What's the next step? I spoke to my wife the night after she confessed. I told her she needed to stop seeing her personal trainer, quit the gym, and that we should start couples counseling. She wasn't happy and argued that it was just a crush, that it would pass, and that she was making good progress. Then she framed it as me not caring about her health. When she realized I wasn't budging, she tried to bargain, asking if she could still go to the gym if she stopped seeing him, and if we could skip counseling if we became intimate again. I admit I lost my temper. I shouted, "Enough. I want to know everything. Tell me everything you've done. I want to see your messages with him. I need to know everything now." She stormed off upstairs, but returned wearing a gym outfit that felt a bit too revealing for the cold weather. I asked to see her phone, and she admitted she had deleted the messages. When I pressed her, she confessed she had sent him a topless selfie on Christmas Day, while I was downstairs cooking dinner for her family. As she continued to confess, she revealed that she had kissed another man during our first year together. I already knew this from a friend of hers who had a crush on me. I asked her why she chose him and not me. She said it wasn't about him, but rather about the situation. She expressed regret about missing out on her youth, having been in a relationship from school into her early 20s, then single for a year before meeting me. She mentioned enjoying attention from younger men, and said a couple of times, "I'm not planning on doing anything, it's just a fantasy, unless you want me to." At that moment, it felt like she was trying to frame her feelings as my idea. I asked if she expected me to give her permission, and she said she thought I'd be okay with it, since I don't get jealous. But I still felt like something was missing. The outfit and the kiss felt like distractions. Even her confession felt like she was trying to get her story out before someone else told me. I decided to go for a drive and ended up at the gym to speak with her personal trainer. I approached him calmly, explaining that I wasn't there for trouble, but that I understood my wife had been harassing him. He was taken aback, but asked who my wife was. When I told him, he said he suspected something like this would happen. He revealed he hadn't trained her since Christmas because he let her go after she sent multiple pictures, not just the one she mentioned. He showed me the messages, and I was shocked. She had sent 12 pictures over 3 months, including one fully naked. When he told her not to send those, she claimed she was just showing her progress. The worst part was the messages where she lied about our relationship. She told him we had argued and that I was out drinking with friends, ignoring her. She even told him she had kicked me out and we were divorcing. On Christmas Day, she messaged him saying it was her first Christmas alone. Just last week, she claimed I was already seeing someone else. I thanked him for his honesty and went home. When I arrived, she was gone, leaving a note that simply said, "Sorry." She's staying at a friend's house now, and while we've been texting, I have a feeling it's over. I'm not even that bothered about the pictures or the flirting. It's the lying about me and our marriage that hurts the most. I was downstairs entertaining her family while she sent those messages. I'm working this weekend to keep my mind busy. Thank you to everyone who took the time to read and respond to my last post. TLDR. It was a lot worse than she originally let on. AITA. For no longer filling the car with gas before my partner has to go to work. I'm using a throwaway for this, so it's not linked to my main account. My partner works Sunday evenings, but I don't. They usually sleep until just 15 to 30 minutes before they need to leave. Recently, they've been asking me to fill up their car with gas before they head to work. At first, I didn't mind. I would take their car to the gas station, sometimes grabbing snacks or coffee along the way. I even filled it up while they were asleep when I needed to run errands. It wasn't every week, just most. I suggested they fill up before Sunday or wake up earlier, and they said they would try. But last night, it snowed heavily. I had no plans to go out because driving in the snow makes me anxious. I stocked up on everything I needed the day before, so I was looking forward to a cozy day inside. When they asked me to fill up their car again today, I said no. I explained that I wasn't comfortable driving in the snow, especially in a car that isn't mine. They insisted it wasn't far to the gas station and that they needed to get ready for work. I stood my ground, saying I wouldn't go out since I didn't need anything. They were upset when I refused and left for work without saying goodbye. Later, I received a text saying they couldn't finish getting ready and were a few minutes late because they had to stop for gas. So, am I the bad guy for not filling the car with gas this time, even though I've done it often in the past?
My boyfriend of 2 years is going on a week-long trip to Italy. How do I not resent him? He was invited by his work, along with 7 of his coworkers, and everything is completely paid for. Meals, flights, excursions, even a private yacht and a mansion on the beach. It's literally a trip of a lifetime, and he didn't have to spend a dime. When he first told me, I felt anxious. 7 months ago he did something that broke my trust, and we've been working to rebuild it. As the trip approached, I learned he had the option to bring a +1, and all the other guys invited their girlfriends or wives. I was the only one left out, and that changed everything for me. It felt personal. I couldn't help but wonder why he didn't want to invite me when everyone else did. When I brought it up, he said he didn't realize it would mean so much to me. He viewed it as a networking trip and didn't want to worry about keeping me entertained while he was busy. He mentioned I'd just be sitting in our room, which, yes, would be in a beautiful mansion on the beach, but I'd still be alone. Now he's living his life across the world with happy couples, while I'm at home, trying not to spiral. I feel hurt and excluded, and resentment is building. He knew I was anxious about him going, especially after what happened before. He had the option to invite me, but chose not to. He said he never considered how I'd feel, and was thinking from a different perspective. Despite this, we have an incredible relationship. We rarely fight. He covers my school and bills, and he's my best friend. I don't want to destroy what we have. So I'm left questioning if I'm being overly emotional, or if this is a real red flag. How do I process this without letting it turn into long-term resentment?
I pretend my face still unlocks my mom's phone. My mom and I have always been told how much we look alike. But there's a deeper story behind that resemblance. My mom, at 53, has faced serious medical issues that have made it difficult for her to stay active. She's tried her best to manage her weight, but her health challenges have limited her options. 2 years ago, I found myself at my heaviest. I could blame it on a lot of things, but mostly I was just being lazy. That's when I discovered that my face could unlock my mom's phone. I mentioned it to her, and she seemed genuinely pleased. As I began my journey to lose weight, I felt better about myself, and my mom was so proud of my progress. She complimented my appearance and celebrated my achievements. But then I noticed something troubling. Her phone no longer recognized my face. I felt a pang of guilt. Now, whenever I'm around her, I quickly type in her password before she notices. I smile and say, "It unlocked again," whenever she's feeling down. I know it's a little silly, but she loves our connection, and I just want to lift her spirits. Recently, my mom had a stroke. It was a scary time for our family, but she's on the mend. She's been feeling low, and I'm grateful that my little trick seems to bring her some joy, especially now that I can show her the phone unlocking in real time. I also try to help in more tangible ways, like taking care of things around the house and being there for her. I appreciate everyone who has reached out. Your kindness gives me a bit of positivity during these tough times. Update. My wife gave birth to a baby that clearly isn't mine, and I'm divorcing her. But I'm worried about the relationship between my 2 kids and their new half-sister. Unfortunately, my last post was locked, but I received a lot of helpful messages from people who have lived through similar situations. I'm particularly grateful to those who shared their experiences and advice on navigating this difficult time. The main takeaway for me was the importance of leading by example. I want to ensure that my new daughter is included as a full member of our family, so my sons can see her that way too. I've also realized I need to confront the hurtful comments I've heard and teach my sons to stand up for their sister. I've spoken to some family members about this, making it clear that if they disrespect her, they won't be welcome around us. My wife and I are more or less on the same page about this. She's been pleading for forgiveness and reconciliation, but I just don't feel that love for her anymore. Only a platonic affection for her as the mother of my children. My sons are handling this as well as can be expected. My 4-year-old is upset by the changes at home, but is easily distracted. The 2-year-old doesn't fully understand, but he has noticed how withdrawn his mother has become. Thankfully, they are both fascinated with their new little sister, which is a silver lining. My wife, on the other hand, is struggling. She was already feeling down before the birth, and now with everything happening, the divorce, the revelation of her infidelity, the backlash from family and friends, and the exhaustion of caring for an infant, she's barely holding it together. She's seeing a therapist, and I've been encouraging our family and friends to support her. Even if they think she deserves it, her current state makes it harder for me and our children. It's become clear that even after the divorce is finalized, we will need to live together for a while longer. She's not in a position to care for 3 kids on her own, and I can't deprive her of her sons by seeking sole custody. Financially, it's also challenging since she lost her job due to COVID. As for the baby girl, she's healthy and fairly easy to care for. I've started to bond with her, and I've even discussed the possibility of adopting her with my wife. She can't contact the father, as all she knows is his first name. Given our co-parenting situation, adopting her as my daughter feels like the best outcome for everyone involved. However, there's been a wrench thrown into that plan. I learned there might be a way to find the baby's father through DNA testing. If he or one of his relatives has taken an ancestry DNA test, we can potentially find him through their database. To be honest, I'm not thrilled about this. I've started to think of the baby girl as my daughter, and introducing her biological father into our lives would complicate everything. Plus, we live in Seattle, and she met him in Philadelphia, so I can't imagine how that would work if he wanted to be involved. Still, I recognize that this reaction is selfish. If there's a chance to find her biological father, we owe it to her to pursue it, for her medical history, and for her to have the option of a relationship with him if she chooses. I've read accounts from children raised by non-biological parents, and a common theme is their desire to meet their biological parent. So, we've ordered an ancestry DNA kit for her, and I guess we'll decide our next steps once we get the results back in a couple of months.
My friend is going to great lengths to prove that my boyfriend is cheating, even though I know he isn't. A few days ago, I shared my struggle with my housemate, Emily. She had made it her mission to convince me that my long-distance boyfriend, Sam, was unfaithful. After my initial post, I sat Emily down and told her I wouldn't discuss Sam anymore. She tried to argue that it was for my own good, but she eventually backed off. I thought that was the end of it. Then, everything exploded. I received an angry message from Emily's boyfriend, calling me all sorts of names, including a homewrecker. Confused, I asked him what was going on. He accused me of cheating on Sam, and claimed I convinced Emily to cheat on him too. It turned out, he had discovered Emily was on Tinder, meeting up with guys while saying she was with him. I had no idea she was doing this. When I told him I wasn't cheating, and hadn't encouraged Emily, he insisted she claimed I was out with a Tinder guy on a night I was actually celebrating Sam's birthday with him. I had photos to prove it, and Emily knew exactly where I was. Not long after, Emily was banging on my door, upset because her boyfriend had gone crazy. She confessed she had cheated because he was abusive. I can't say I saw any signs of that, but I also couldn't dismiss her claims. She was scared, and said I was involved because she wanted me to break up with Sam. That caught my attention. I asked her to explain, and she admitted she wanted us both to be free from our partners. She thought if she could convince me Sam was cheating, I'd leave him. I couldn't believe it. Even if she was trying to escape her own situation, her attempts to manipulate me were enough to cut her off completely. I didn't wait for her to wake up to act. I contacted our landlord, who was understanding, and I decided to break my lease. I'm going to stay in a friend's spare room for now. I might leave Emily a goodbye note. This whole situation has made me reconsider moving to be with Sam. I've been thinking about it for a while, and now it feels like a pivotal moment. Many commenters suggested something might have happened between Sam and Emily before, but I know that's not true. Sam never contacted her privately, and was only friendly because she was my housemate. Just as I wouldn't cheat with any of his friends or family, he wouldn't cheat with Emily. I understand some may still doubt him, but I refuse to let what-if thoughts ruin my relationship. In short, my housemate, who was trying to prove my boyfriend was cheating, was actually cheating on her own boyfriend. She wanted me to join her in leaving mine. I found out the truth from her boyfriend, and now I'm moving out as quickly as I can.
Update. My ex-wife wants me to be with her in her last days. It's been almost 3 weeks since I last shared my story, and a lot has happened since then. My ex-wife, who I've known since I was 10, cheated on me, but is now dying, and wants me around before she passes. I want to express my gratitude to everyone who offered advice and shared their experiences with me. Taking your suggestions to heart, I had a long discussion with my ex. I reassured her that no matter what, she will always be my first priority. I made it clear that while I wanted to say my goodbyes, I wouldn't act like her husband. It would be more like reconnecting with an old friend. I also promised I wouldn't spend the night or be alone with her. After our talk, she seemed more comfortable with the idea of me visiting. My sister, after a lengthy discussion about my role during the visit, agreed to the boundaries my ex and I set. A week later, my sister and I arrived at our old home. It felt surreal, and while memories flooded back, I didn't feel sadness or anger. When I saw my ex waiting for us in the living room, she cried as I walked in. Some might think she was faking it, but even though she was still strong, it was clear something was wrong. I hugged her, and we talked for a few hours while my sister prepared lunch. I shared pictures of my kids and stories about their lives. Honestly, I didn't know how I would feel seeing her again, but it was like reconnecting with an old friend. There was no resentment, just warmth. Walking through the house, everything was as it had been over a decade ago. I noticed our wedding photos still framed on the walls, but it didn't feel right to comment on it. We had lunch together and played board games, reminiscing about the times we spent together as kids. It was genuinely nice. As I left around 6, she was sad, but understood. When I hugged her goodbye, she whispered, "I love you," and expressed happiness that I found the joy she couldn't give me.
That hit me hard, and I fought back tears. I promised to see her again soon, and she asked if I could bring my kids next time. I agreed and left to pick up dinner for my family. When I told my wife everything that happened, she was happy with the outcome. Bringing home her favorite food certainly helped. She agreed to let me bring the kids next time, which felt like a step forward. Overall, seeing my ex again was a great experience. I feel like I needed it, and would have regretted not doing so. Thank you to everyone who offered advice. Please remember, my ex made a mistake and has paid the price, but that doesn't make her an evil person. This will be my last update. IATA for banning my wife's Disney Divorce Friends plugins from our house. My wife's friend Melissa is staying with us for a few weeks while she sorts her life out. We have a large home, and we're happy to have guests. Melissa is leaving her husband after 25 years of marriage because she wants to move to LA and work at Disneyland. It sounds like the plot of a bad sitcom, but it's real. Both she and her husband have contributed to the struggles in their marriage, and their relationship has been rocky for as long as I've known them. The issue arose when Melissa showed up with an arsenal of room scents, sprays, and plugins. The smell took over our home, invading the hallway, the family bathroom, my office, and even drifting down 2 flights of stairs into the foyer and living room. It was overwhelming and unpleasant, a mix of artificial fragrances that we've intentionally avoided in our home. We've worked hard to create a space that feels clean and welcoming, and now it felt like a teenage party gone wrong. Melissa is genuinely lovely and in a vulnerable place, and I don't want to make her feel unwelcome. But it's our house, and I felt strongly about this. I mentioned how strong the smell was, thinking it was just a room spray, and was shocked when she said it was from multiple plugins. I approached her with a gentle request, asking if she could keep the door closed when using the sprays. But when I learned about the plugins, I felt overwhelmed and asked her to remove them. My wife thought I was being inconsiderate, saying I was making Melissa uncomfortable during a tough time. I was incredulous that she thought it was okay for someone to change the scent of our home without permission. After our conversation, Melissa apologized and removed the plugins immediately. I later discovered that one of them was near the central air intake, which explained how the smell spread so quickly. Even now, the scent hasn't completely faded. My wife pointed out that my facial expressions during the conversation were a mix of shock and disgust. I tried to maintain a friendly tone while explaining my feelings, but I ended up saying I hated the smell, which wasn't kind. In my defense, I genuinely dislike it, and I was taken aback that an adult would think it was acceptable to do this in someone else's home. So, am I the bad guy here? I feel justified in my feelings, but I'm left wondering if I overstepped. My boyfriend just said something vile to me. I'm laying in bed gaming with my cat Cinnamon, trying to sneak some of my food. I kept shooing her away, but she wouldn't budge. My boyfriend, let's call him S, grabbed her by the scruff and pulled her away, which made Cinnamon cling to a heavy body pillow. He didn't stop pulling until her claws came free. I got upset and told him he didn't need to do that, especially since it could hurt her. He looked at me and said, "Zip your lip, that's what you need to do." I was taken aback and asked, "What?" He replied, "You're a special kind of breed, aren't you?" I tried to explain, "S, you can hurt her." He just shrugged and said, "So what am I supposed to do? She's clinging on." I suggested, "Stop pulling her away and unhook her claws." He stared at me like I was being unreasonable. After he took the cats out, he acted like nothing happened. I felt sick to my stomach, and my heart ached. I needed space, so I told him, what happened with Cinnamon really upset me. I need some time to cool off. Please no long messages back. He simply replied, okay. Now I'm contemplating leaving him over this. I'm trying to process everything, but I wonder if this is something unrepairable. I just need to figure it all out when I'm sober.